Hey guys, today we are going to do a somewhat quick review here of the UCS Razor Crest from 2022. Almost 6,200 pieces, Ultimate Collector Series Star Wars set from The Mandalorian. Kind of giving you as much of you as I can. Cannot put this on the turntable, it is huge. Let's do a quick look at the minifigures here. So we've got this guy here, I think it was the Mithril. One of the first episode figures. We'll stick him back on this stand. Excuse me. So the stand itself does have a stickered plaque here. And then you've got, of course, Quill with his blurg. Let's get a better look at this character. It's got a little eyeball, little tiny little arms. And these will all fit within the set itself. So we're gonna stick that there. A little bit trickier to get them on there with one hand. And then of course you've got same Grogu we've seen before. Little hover pram, and then you've got the actual Mandalorian himself. This is not the Beskar armor, but the helmet's actually been updated. Alright, so that's that. Let's get into the set itself here. So very, very cool. Huge, absolutely ginormous here. And we're going to start to look at the features here. Alright guys, so the features, you've got of course an opening door on both sides with a ramp that opens up. Pretty cool. We're going to get a look at the inside of that here in a minute. I'm going to attempt to try and rotate this as best as I can. Get that up just a little bit, so you guys can get a better view of everything here before we get into the inside. So you can see from the landing gear, does not retract. Here's a pretty good shot here from the front. Cockpit. Of course, there's a door on the other side as well. And then let's get into kind of all of the little panels here. So we'll pull this piece off. This is the entire cockpit piece. So I'm just going to stick this somewhere to the side here. Give us a better look at the cockpit itself. Very, very cool. We do have a door that actually opens. Some weapon storage. Rotating seat. And then this section lifts straight up so we can get a better look at it. And I'm going to actually swing in here and we'll see if we can't get a better look at this here from the inside. You can see there's the bed. The other door, which we'll just pull open here, lets a bit more light in. Got a little generator, a few other little things from the show. And then the bed itself, you can actually pick it up, and there's the wires. Stick them. I'm going to pull that out and just leave that out for the moment. Let me rotate this a little bit more and we'll start to actually get into the rest of the set here. The set without the engines is actually not too heavy. However, the engines are really the chunk of weight. There is a rear hatch, which is a little bit easier to get to from the other side. Let's start here. by scooting that back and give you guys a better view of the engine itself. Very, very cool. And then from the other side, you can kind of see in the background the rest of my stuff here. It's probably one of the larger sets that I have. And then from the back. And we do have this loading ramp, if I can get my finger in there. To pull it down, there we go. So a bit stiff. Oop. But there we go. So these actuators are pretty stiff, but it will come all the way down. And then back across the front. You've got your little escape pod up here. Does have the ability to hold a figure. And then we can take a peek in there. You can see some Boba Fett stuff. Let me put the camera here down for a second and we'll get the engines off here. Alright, so we've pulled those off. That's kind of a two-hand thing there. And then you've got this piece here that comes off. We've got another piece. They're only held on by a few jumpers. So we'll scoot this all over. Just got a whole pile of pieces everywhere. And this back piece here also comes off. So that one's going to require another hand. And that helps just get more light in there. So we can see what's going on. So you can see a lot of the inner workings there, but you can also see there's quite a bit of space, tiled and otherwise. You've got the Boba Fett gear there, so that leads into Book of Boba Fett. There's a carbon freezing chamber, carbonite blocks, a cabinet. That is full of weapons. And of course you've got macaroons there too. And then that structure there, pulling that off just helps get into kind of the space that's right here, and it can help get more light in there if you're trying to maneuver something around. And of course we've got a ladder on that side there, down into the depths. And that's the Razor Crest, kind of a quick overview there. Let me get everything kind of put back together here. Sometimes I've noticed that this particular piece will come off with that top piece. Just kind of something that you need to be aware of. So we're going to resecure that. Gonna put this down again. Gotta kind of just find a spot that it likes to sit. And then once that's found, everything kind of just nests in. It's not in any particular way there. As we back up here, got this next piece that just fits right there again. Nothing's held down super tight, so not something you want to be flipping upside down, but it's just finding that kind of sweet spot. The engines, which are always a bit tricky because they have to line up just right, and it's definitely a tighter fit than which is not a bad thing. Got our escape pod, of course, and that one just pretty much just hangs out in there. It's not really held down by anything, it's the friction that's really holding it there. So escape pod is all square. And then let's put the bed back. And of course the rest of the cockpit. And everything seats in pretty nicely. And then we're gonna grab Mando here so we can see what he looks like in the cockpit. Almost lost Mando there. Sit him down in his chair. There's plenty of room for the cape. You'll notice it just kind of tucks behind him, so there's plenty of room so it doesn't actually hurt his cape at all. And then we can take Grogu here, take him out of his pram. And we'll sit him in just behind Mando here. And then once we've got that all squared away, there we go. Stick the main cockpit on here. Now, this is what it looks like. I'm gonna rotate to the other side here. Whoop. And you can kind of see what it looks like when they're in there. That is the Razor Crest. Huge set, kind of very tricky to actually review here. My space doesn't really give me the option of doing so. But definitely pretty cool set here. And of course you can fit everything in there. So there's what's left of the stand. You can throw the Minthral into the carbon freezing chamber if you want to. And then of course you've got the blurg as well, which is just cool to have Quill and the blurg. Or they can stay on the stand. That's what I've got for you. Just a quick overview of the UCS Razor Crest from 2022.